Woody spent his entire life believing his purpose was simple. He thought he just needed to be there for Andy, to protect him and make him happy and be the toy he reaches for when he needs someone. But when Toy Story 4 ended, Woody did something that seemed impossible. The one toy who spent his entire life believing a toy's greatest purpose was being there for a child walked away. And that leaves us with one question. Did Toy Story 4 give Woody the perfect ending he was always meant to have? Or did it forget the lesson that made Toy Story special in the first place? Because to understand why Woody's final choice is so controversial, we have to go back to where his story began. The first Toy Story isn't really about toys coming to life. It's the fear that someone else can take your place. When the movie begins, Woody looks like he has everything figured out. He's Andy's favorite toy, the leader of the room, and the one every toy looks to when something goes wrong. Andy doesn't just play with Woody, he sees him as the hero of his imagination. From the opening scene, Woody is the toy who saves the day, the first one Andy reaches for, and the one he proudly calls his favorite deputy. From the outside, Woody seems completely confident, but that confidence is built on one fragile idea. He has to be number one.
Alright everyone, this is a stick up! Don't anybody move! Now empty that safe! Money, money, money! Stop it, you mean old potato! Quiet, Bo Peep, or your sheep get run over! Help! Help us! Oh no, not my sheep! Somebody do something!
Reach for the sky!
Oh no, Sheriff Woody! I'm here to stop you, One-Eyed Bart! Yo! How'd you know it was me? Are you gonna come quietly? Can't touch me, Sheriff. I brought my attack dog with a built-in force field. Well, I brought my dinosaur, Leech force field dog. You're going to jail, Bart. Say goodbye to the wife and tater tots. You saved the day again, Woody.
You're my favorite deputy.
When Andy's birthday party gets moved up, every toy immediately panics about the possibility of being replaced by a new toy. Woody steps in to calm everyone down and tells them something that becomes the foundation of the entire series. It doesn't matter how much you're played with. What matters is being there for your kid when they need you. It's a beautiful message. The problem is, Woody doesn't actually believe it yet, because the second Buzz Lightyear enters Andy's room, Woody's entire world starts falling apart. Buzz doesn't even try to replace him. He doesn't even know he's a toy. He isn't competing with Woody. He isn't trying to become the new favorite. But Woody sees him as a threat anyway, because every time Andy chooses Buzz, Woody sees proof that his place is disappearing. The cowboy posters are replaced with space posters. The cowboy bed sheets disappear. Andy starts wearing Buzz pajamas, but none of those changes are really about Buzz. They're about Woody watching the world where he mattered slowly change without him, and that's what makes Woody's jealousy feel so human. Most people know that feeling, watching someone new walk into a place where you thought you belonged and suddenly wondering if there's still room for you. Logically, we know love isn't something that runs out, but fear doesn't think logically.
Oh, finally. Hey, who's got my hat?
Look, I'm Woody. Howdy, howdy, howdy.
Give me that.
Say there, lizard and stretchy dog. Let me show you something. It looks as though I've been accepted into your culture. Your chief, Andy, inscribed his name on me.
Wow! With permanent ink, too!
Well, I must get back to repairing my shoe.
Don't let it get to you, Woody.
Let what? I don't, what do you mean? Who?
I know Andy's excited about Buzz, but you know he'll always have a special place for you.
Yeah, like the attic.
All right, that's it.
Unidirectional bonding strip.
Mr. Lightyear wants more tape.
Listen, Light Snack, you stay away from Andy. He's mine, and no one is taking him away from me.
What are you talking about? Where's that bonding strip?
And another thing, stop with this spaceman thing. It's getting on my nerves.
Are you saying you want to lodge a complaint with Star Command?
Oh, okay. Ooh, well, so you want to do it the hard way, huh?
Don't even think about it, cowboy.
Oh, yeah? Tough guy?
The air is toxic. How dare you open a spaceman's helmet on an uncharted planet? My eyeballs could have been sucked from their sockets.
You actually actually think you're the Buzz Lightyear?
Oh, all this time I thought it was an act. Hey, guys, look! It's the real Buzz Lightyear!
You're mocking me, aren't you?
Oh, no. Buzz, look, an alien!
Where?
Ah!
Instead of accepting that Andy can love more than one toy, Woody starts seeing Buzz as the enemy. His fear takes over, and it pushes him into making the exact mistake that defines the first movie, trying to remove the thing he thinks is threatening him, but it backfires. Woody doesn't become more important. He loses everything. He loses Andy's trust. He loses the other toys' respect. He loses his position as their leader, and worst of all, he becomes the very thing he was terrified of becoming, a lost toy. That's the irony at the center of Woody's journey. He spends the entire movie trying to prevent himself from becoming unnecessary, but his fear is what almost makes him unnecessary. It's only when Woody and Buzz are forced to work together that Woody finally understands the truth. Buzz didn't steal Andy's love. Andy simply found room for another toy. By the end of the movie, Woody isn't fighting to become Andy's favorite again. He accepts that Andy's heart is big enough for both of them, and that's the first major change in Woody's character. At the beginning of the movie, Woody believes his worth comes from being Andy's favorite toy. By the end, he realizes his worth comes from simply being there for Andy. That small change becomes the foundation for everything that follows, because once Woody learns that being loved matters more than being the favorite, the series can start asking much harder questions, like what happens when your kid grows up, or what happens when they don't need you anymore, and eventually, what happens after you've already fulfilled your purpose. When most people think about Toy Story 2, they remember the airport chase, the bloopers, or Jessie singing "When She Loved Me." But what makes Toy Story 2 special isn't the adventure, it's the fact that this movie forces Woody to confront a fear he has been avoiding since the beginning. What happens when the thing that gives your life meaning starts disappearing? At the start of the movie, Woody still believes his purpose is simple: be Andy's favorite toy and be there whenever Andy needs him. But one ripped arm changes everything. For the first time, Woody is forced to confront something every toy eventually has to face. He won't last forever. That damaged arm isn't just a physical injury, it represents time catching up with Woody. No matter how much he loves Andy, no matter how loyal he is, there will eventually come a day when he can't be the toy Andy remembers, and that possibility terrifies him. After Woody risks everything to save Wheezy at the yard sale, he ends up being stolen by Al and is introduced to Jessie, Bullseye, and Stinky Pete. But what Woody discovers isn't just another group of toys. He discovers an entirely different version of himself. Before this moment, Woody was just Andy's cowboy, but now he learns he was also the star of Woody's Roundup, a famous character and a collector's item, something rare and valuable. For the first time, Woody is offered something he never had before, a reason to matter beyond one child. And that's what makes Stinky Pete's argument so tempting. He isn't just telling Woody to go to a museum, he's offering him a way to escape his biggest fear. No more worrying about being replaced, no more worrying about being forgotten, and no more worrying about growing old. He can be preserved forever. But Toy Story 2 slowly reveals the problem with that idea. A toy's value was never about how rare it was about the relationship it created. That's why Jessie becomes such an important part of Woody's journey. Her story in When She Loved Me shows Woody the future he's terrified of. Emily didn't stop loving Jessie because Jessie wasn't special. Emily simply grew up, and that is what hurts the most. Sometimes people don't leave because something went wrong. Sometimes they leave because life changes. Jessie's heartbreak represents the future Woody is trying to avoid. The day Andy grows up and the day Woody gets put away. The day the thing he built his entire identity around disappears. Meanwhile, Buzz refuses to give up on Woody, leading a rescue mission that mirrors the first movie. But this time the roles are different. In the first movie, Woody had to learn that Buzz wasn't his replacement. In the second movie, Buzz has to remind Woody that he was never just a toy someone owned. When Woody is repaired and sees the life waiting for him with the Roundup gang, the choice becomes even harder. For the first time, Woody gets to experience a world where he is celebrated, where he is important, where he belongs. So why would he ever go back? That's what makes Buzz's words hit so hard. He tells Woody he's not a collector's item, he's a child's plaything, because Stinky Pete sees being preserved forever as the ultimate reward. But Buzz understands something Woody is still struggling with. A perfect moment that never ends isn't the same as a meaningful life. After seeing his old TV self remind him that the true treasures are friends and family, and watching the child love the toy he used to be, Woody finally understands what really matters. He scratches the fresh paint off his boot and reveals Andy's name underneath. That name is the answer. Woody doesn't belong with the Roundup gang because he was made for a show. He belongs with Andy because he was loved. And that's what makes Stinky Pete such a powerful villain. He isn't just someone who wants Woody to stay. He's what Woody could become if fear wins. Stinky Pete was never rejected by a child because he wasn't valuable. He was never given the chance to know what being loved felt like. So he convinces himself that love was never worth wanting in the first place. Woody chooses the opposite. He chooses uncertainty. He chooses change. He chooses a relationship that might eventually end over a life where he is guaranteed to never be loved at all. The airport chase isn't just a fun action sequence. It's the final test of that decision. Every toy comes together to save Woody, proving that the most important thing isn't avoiding loss. It's the people you have beside you while you experience it. By the end, Woody finally understands something he couldn't accept at the beginning of the movie. Being loved for a little while is worth infinitely more than being forgotten forever, because you were never loved at all. That is why his final line matters. Nah, it'll be fun while it lasts, because that sentence is the entire message of Toy Story 2. Woody spends the movie searching for a way to avoid losing Andy. He believes forever will protect him from heartbreak, but he learns the opposite. Love matters because it doesn't last forever. Children grow up, people change, moments end, and that's exactly what makes those moments special. Toy Story 2 isn't just a movie about toys accepting change. It's about choosing to love something even when you know it won't last forever. In the first movie, Woody told the other toys that their job was simply to be there whenever Andy needed them, but at the time, he was saying something he hadn't fully accepted himself. He still believed his worth came from being Andy's favorite. By the end of Toy Story 2, Woody finally understands the lesson he was trying to teach everyone else all along. A toy's purpose isn't to be loved forever, it's to make the time they have with someone matter.
Come on over. Oh, you are such a big girl. Andy, you think she's ready to drive the car yet?
Yeah, and I can teach her.
You still worried?
About Andy? Nah, it'll be fun while it lasts.
I'm proud of you, cowboy.
Besides, when it all ends, I'll have old Buzz Lightyear to keep me company. For infinity and beyond.
Before we can talk about why Toy Story 4 feels so different, we have to talk about the ending that came before it, because Toy Story 3 wasn't just another adventure, it was a goodbye. For almost 2 decades, Woody's entire identity was built around one thing, which was being there for Andy. But from the very beginning, that love came with the fear attached to it. Woody wasn't just afraid of losing his spot as Andy's favorite toy, he was afraid of becoming unnecessary. That's why Buzz affected him so much in the first movie. Buzz wasn't just a new toy, he represented the possibility that one day Andy might find something else to love. And now, after everything Woody has been through, that fear is finally becoming reality. Andy is growing up. The kid who once needed Woody every day is preparing to leave for college. And for a toy, there is no greater fear than realizing the person who gave your life meaning might not need you anymore. But that's what makes Lotso such an interesting villain, because Lotso is what Woody could have become if he let that fear win. Before Sunnyside became a prison, Lotso was loved. He had a child named Daisy who took him everywhere until one day he was accidentally left behind. When Lotso returned, he discovered Daisy had replaced him. That moment broke something inside him. Instead of accepting that love can change, Lotso decided that if he couldn't be loved forever, then love was never real to begin with. Sunnyside reflects that belief. On the surface, it looks like paradise, a place where toys never have to worry about being abandoned. But underneath, it's a prison built around the fear of being forgotten. Lotso controls other toys because he believes the only way to survive is to never care again. Woody faces the same fear, but he chooses the opposite path. Lotso sees an ending and believes it destroys everything that came before it. Woody sees an ending and realizes it proves those moments mattered. That's why the incinerator scene is so powerful. When the toys believe they're about to be destroyed, they stop worrying about Andy, their past, or what comes next. They simply hold each other's hands. In their final moments, they realize the most important thing wasn't the fact that Andy owned them, it was the love they shared with each other.
Just push it! Push it!
Push it! Where's your kid now, Sheriff?
What do we do?
All that bad stuff I said about Andy's attic, I take it all back.
You darn tootin'.
You said it.
Oh, darling, you were so brave. You saved our lives.
And we are eternally grateful. My boys.
Then comes the goodbye we've been building towards since the first movie. Andy gives his toys to Bonnie, and when he explains who Woody is, he doesn't describe him as a collectible or a favorite toy. He describes him exactly as we've known him for 3 movies: loyal, brave, and someone who will never give up on the people he loves. And that's the moment Woody finally understands. Andy moving on doesn't mean their friendship meant nothing. Growing up doesn't erase the memories. A goodbye doesn't make something less important. Toy Story 3 ends with Woody watching Andy drive away, not because he's afraid to move on, but because he finally understands that endings don't erase what came before. He's not broken. He's not looking for another purpose. He's ready. Because Woody finally accepts the lesson the entire series has been teaching him. You don't need something to last forever for it to be meaningful. Sometimes the reason something matters is because you know you only have a limited time with it. And that's why Toy Story 3 felt like the perfect ending to Woody's story. It wasn't about holding on forever. It was about knowing when to let go.
Don't go in there. The bakery is haunted. Shh, are you crazy? You'll wake up all the ghosts. Look out! The ghosts are throwing pies. Flap, flap, flap. Mom?
Andy?
Hi.
Wow, look at you. I hear you're off to college.
Yeah, right now, actually.
So, what can we do for you?
I have some toys here.
Ooh, you hear that, Bonnie?
So you're Bonnie? I'm Andy. Someone told me you're really good with toys. These are mine, but I'm going away now. So I need someone really special to play with them. This is Jessie, the roughest, toughest cowgirl in the whole West. She loves critters, but none more than her best pal, Bullseye. Yeehaw! Here. This is Rex, the meanest, most terrifying dinosaur who ever lived. Roar! Roar! The potato heads, Mr. and Mrs. You gotta keep them together because they're madly in love. Now Slinky here is as loyal as any dog you could want. And Ham, he'll keep your money safe. But he's also one of the most dastardly villains of all time. Evil Dr. Porkchop. These little dudes are from a strange alien world, Pizza Planet. And this is Buzz Lightyear, the coolest toy ever. Look, he can fly, and shoot lasers. He's sworn to protect the galaxy from the evil Emperor Zurg.
And beyond.
Now, you gotta promise to take good care of these guys. They mean a lot to me.
My cowboy.
Woody? What's he doing in there?
You're the snake in my boot.
There's a snake in my boot.
Now, Woody, he's been my pal for as long as I can remember. He's brave, like a cowboy should be, and kind and smart. But the thing that makes Woody special is he'll never give up on you. Ever. He'll be there for you, no matter what. You think you can take care of him for me? Okay, then. Oh no! Dr. Porkchop's attacking the haunted bakery! Pew, pew, pew.
The ghosts are getting away! Woody'll stop them!
Buzz Lightyear to the rescue!
So long, partner.
At first glance, Toy Story 4 looks like another rescue mission. Woody sees Forky get taken by Gabby Gabby, and without hesitation, he does what he's always done. He becomes the sheriff, the protector, the toy who will risk everything to make sure someone else gets back to their kid. But the deeper you look, the more you realize something important. Woody isn't just trying to save Forky, he's trying to save the part of himself that he's afraid to lose, because Forky represents the one question Woody has spent the entire series avoiding. What happens when a toy is no longer needed? When Woody reunites with Bo Peep after 7 years, he expects to find someone who lost everything, someone who was abandoned and never recovered. Instead, he finds the exact opposite. Bo didn't spend years waiting for another child to choose her. She didn't see being given away as the end of her story. She built a new life. She found friends, purpose, and freedom outside of being someone's toy. And that completely challenges everything Woody believes, because Woody's entire identity has always been built around one idea. A toy's purpose comes from their kid, Andy, Bonnie, whoever comes next. Without that role, Woody doesn't know who he is, but Bo has already accepted the thing Woody is most afraid of. A toy's life doesn't end when a child moves on. That's why their argument outside the antique store is the emotional turning point of the movie. When Woody refuses to leave Forky behind, Bo doesn't see loyalty. She sees someone who is desperately holding on to the only thing that makes him feel important. She tells him he needs Bonnie, and Woody's response says everything. He says it's called loyalty, something a lost toy wouldn't understand.
Forky's still in there. If we hurry, we can get him before they lock him up.
You want us to go back in there? Barely got out alive. Woody, it's better if we wait.
No. There's no time. We can easily get back inside.
But I saw Bonnie.
By my count, there were only 4 dummies.
But the
and we
backpack-
outnumbered them, so we have the advantage.
Woody, look at us. Nobody is with you. It's over, okay?
No. We are wasting time. We can do this.
Come on, pull string.
It's not worth it.
Yes, listen to her.
Nobody wants this.
I do.
Why?
Because.
Why?
Just because.
Why?
Because it's all I have left to do. I don't have anything else.
So the rest of us don't count?
That's not what I meant. Bonnie needs Forky.
No, you need Bonnie. Open your eyes, Woody. There's plenty of kids out there. It can't be just about the one you're still clinging to.
It's called loyalty. Something a lost toy wouldn't understand.
For years, Woody has believed loyalty is what makes him different from every other toy. He's the one who never gives up, the one who always comes back, the one who never leaves anyone behind. But Bo realizes something Woody doesn't. Sometimes holding on isn't the same thing as being loyal. Sometimes you're holding on because you're afraid of what happens when you let go. That's why Woody and Gabby Gabby are such interesting parallels. They are both searching for the same thing, proof that they matter. Gabby believes a child choosing her will finally make her whole. Woody believes being needed by a child is what gives his life meaning. So when Woody gives Gabby his voice box, it isn't just him helping another toy. It's him giving away the symbol of everything he thought made him special. The sheriff's voice, the pull string, the thing that made Woody, Woody. But after losing it, Woody discovers something important. The voice box was never what made him valuable. It was everything he did with it, the choices he made, the friends he protected, the love he gave. And the irony is that Woody teaches Gabby the exact lesson he needs to learn himself. When Harmony rejects her, Woody tells her that she shouldn't give up because there are plenty of kids out there. Someone else will love her. And eventually, Gabby finds that person. But Woody has to realize that the same thing applies to him. His worth doesn't only come from Andy choosing him, and it doesn't only come from Bonnie needing him, and it doesn't disappear when he's no longer sitting in the child's bedroom. That's why the ending of Toy Story 4 is so divisive. For 3 movies, Woody's entire goal was finding his way back to his kid, and in this movie, he finally does exactly that. He saves Forky, he returns to Bonnie, he gets everything he spent his entire life fighting for. But after everything he's experienced, Woody is no longer the same toy who left. After seeing Bo's life and helping Gabby find hers, Woody finally understands something he never could before. Being loved by a child is one of the greatest things a toy can experience, but it isn't the only things that gives them purpose. That's why Buzz's final words matter so much. He says to listen to his inner voice. The same Buzz who once had to learn he wasn't really a space ranger is now helping Woody realize something similar. Woody isn't just Andy's toy. He's not only Bonnie's toy, he's Woody. And after a lifetime of accepting change, he now faces the biggest change of all. Can he accept that a story can continue even after the person who made it meaningful is gone? Because Andy grew up, Bonnie will grow up, every child eventually moves on, but that doesn't mean those moments disappear. The memories were real, the love was real, and now Woody has to decide whether his purpose ends when the child lets go of him, or if he can finally choose what comes next.
So long, Forky. Forky? Who's watching the doors?
Go, 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 boy!
Oh my goodness, the awning. What is going on?
Now, after everything we've talked about, it all comes back to one question. Do you think Toy Story 4 forgot its own ending? Personally, I don't think it forgot what Toy Story was about, but I do think it changed what Toy Story was supposed to be about. For 3 movies, Woody's story was built around one idea. A toy's purpose comes from being there for their kid. That belief was challenged in every film, but it always survived. Woody learned he didn't have to be the favorite. He learned that love was worth the heartbreak of being left behind. And in Toy Story 3, he finally accepted that even though things were changing, the love and memories him and Andy shared would always matter. The ending felt complete. Toy Story 4 takes Woody in a different direction. Instead of asking what happens when your kid grows up, it asks whether a toy can find a purpose outside of having a kid at all. That's not an inherently bad idea, but it is a different one. That's why the ending divided so many fans. It's not just that Woody leaves Bonnie, it's that the movie redefines the promise the series spent 3 films building. Instead of saying a toy's greatest purpose is being there for their child, it suggests that purpose can ultimately be found somewhere else. For some people, that's a natural evolution. For others, it feels like Woody abandons the very belief that defined him. That disconnect becomes even harder to ignore because so much of the supporting cast barely has a role. Buzz, once Woody's equal and the emotional heart of the trilogy, is reduced to following his inner voice, as if he's forgotten everything he learned. Over the last 3 movies, Jesse, Rex, Ham, and the rest of Andy's toys are pushed into the background, while newcomers like Ducky and Bunny take center stage. Even emotional moments like Woody giving up his voice box or saying goodbye don't land with the same weight because so many of the characters who made Woody's journey meaningful are pushed to the sidelines, and I think that's one of the biggest reasons Toy Story 4 still divides fans years later, it's not because people hate change. Change has always been a part of Toy Story. It's because the first 3 movies embraced change without abandoning the idea that held the series together. Toy Story 4 changes the message itself. The original trilogy taught us that you didn't matter because you were special. You mattered because somebody loved you. Toy Story 4 argues that eventually you have to find meaning beyond that love. Whether that's growth or a betrayal of everything that came before is up to each viewer to decide. But for me, Woody's story ends with Toy Story 3.